Class is in session, your most unconventional class. She talks all things, all subjects. It's the Interdisciplinary Podcast. Hosted by your favorite doctor, this is What's the Say with Dr. Kymrae.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm not quite sure what time it is when you're listening to us and you're tuning in, but we appreciate you either way. And we want to just welcome you to Season 2, Episode 3. Yes, we continue to talk intense conversations. Every episode, super intense, right? But today we're going to be definitely talking intense. And when I say intense, I mean, in fact, the most intense emotion that we experience as humans. And that's love. Love. We're talking love today. Yes. So can I be honest with you guys? Can I be honest with my people? Can I be honest with you? As I age, I am still denying the need for these dating sites. I'm sorry. I'm not with them. I'm not there yet. I said, you know what? What am I going to do with COVID going on? Do I need these dating sites now? I'm just not there. I'm just not there. Are y'all with me? Is anybody here with me? Because I know a lot of people are on these dating sites. They're finding mates, not so good, some good. And, I don't know. But you know what I wanted to do? What I always do when I don't know, I research. I try to figure it out. So what I did was I researched and I was looking for a matchmaker. I was like, I need to find me a matchmaker. But you know what? I brought it for y'all today. I got me more than a matchmaker. I got y'all more than a matchmaker. So I want y'all to come a little bit closer and check out what we're doing today. We're going to be with a very marvelous coach today. And a very inspirational, a very exceptional coach. And she's a love coach. Coach Cass is her name of Inspire Mini, inspiremini.com. So we're going to be talking about, let's go down the list real quick before I bring her on. We're going to be talking about love, logic, and chemistry. We're going to be talking about being vulnerable and love languages and love and COVID-19. Good gosh, that's a lot on our plate. So we got to get her on. So let's go ahead and bring her on. Please welcome our guest, Coach Cass. How are you doing, Coach Cass?
What to say, Dr. Kymrae? I'm so excited to be here.
We are so happy to have you because we are trying to get into your land of love and inspiration and inspiring many. We're putting it together now. So you inspire many to find love, right?
Mm-hmm. That's it. That's it. You got it.
Wow, that must be a fun and exciting job every day on your plate that you take care.
It really is, though. Like, I just got a text from one of my clients saying, I think I found the one, I think I found my person. And I get those text messages all the time. So I walk around with this huge smile on my face, like, yes. This is why I do what I do. Yes, there's many frustrating pieces in between, but
absolutely
text messages like that, just remind me of why I do what I do.
I love it. I love it. Well, like I said to my subscribers before I brought you on, you are not just what I was originally seeking, a matchmaker. I was like, oh, let me bring on a matchmaker to help my subscribers find a mate. But yeah. you're that and all that in a bag of more chips. So so that's
Lays
awesome.
Doritos. That's the question.
Doritos all day.
Oh yes. Okay. Yes.
I love that. Well, so before we begin, though, I want to dive right into this because I want us to get through this conversation fast so we can get to moving into our new life of love. So okay. I just really want you to share with us, though, real quick, how did you get into this? Share a little bit about your story.
Okay, so you want to go straight there, I see. Okay, Dr. Kymrae, I see you. So once upon a time, I was dating this guy that I thought was the one. You ever thought somebody was the one before?
Oh, yes.
And we were talking about a future and a business and a dream. I had a dream that one day, this man would marry me. Up until one Christmas Eve, I got a call from a mutual friend.
Oh?
Are you sitting?
I'm sitting.
Yeah, like, why would you ask if I'm sitting? Merry Christmas? He's like, that's not why I'm calling. He's married.
What?
Yes, girl. I was just like, who's married? The guy you've been dating. My heart shattered in a million pieces. I don't know about
goodness.
you, Dr.
Wow.
Kymrae. Have you ever gotten a call where you felt like the bottom fell out?
I've gotten that same call.
It was
a text message, though. It was a text message.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to step on any toes. We'll crunch our toes together. So there I was in a really dark, bad place. And
wow, yes.
I was like, something's got to give, you know?
Yes.
And my defining moment came when I got like my 29th wedding invitation. You ever felt like everybody was getting married?
I mean, I have so many bridesmaids dresses, I can't even keep count of them.
Seriously. I was just like, wait a second. It didn't matter the age, the stage, the race, the weight, none of it, you know? Everything in between. Everybody. I said, wait a second. I'm cute. Like, why is this not working for me?
Right. Right.
So for me, I decided to, I made a decision that day. I drew a line in the sand, but I drew it behind me. Because I said, I'm moving forward. You know, I'm not going to look back. You know, I'm drawing the line behind me, right, girl. So when I started walking along this journey, I realized that everything I had invested in all revolved around the exterior, you know, so around my fitness, around my travel plans, you know, before COVID, around my career, my education, my business, but never about me and my love life.
Right.
And I realized there was a part of me that felt that there was like some sprinkled magic dust somewhere that I'm supposed to be buying. You know, it worked for Ellen, and it worked for Maria, it worked for Rashida, so why can't it work for me?
No, that's right.
Hey, girl. So when I went to Disney and I went to go get the magic fairy dust, guess what? They weren't giving out any around love. I went to marriage conferences as a single woman.
Wow.
Right? There's actually an old picture on Facebook, you know, where you put your face in the little cutouts.
Yes.
So there's the bride and then there's the groom. And all my friends are like, Cass, yo, where's the groom? I'm like, he's coming. Don't worry about that. Yeah, he coming, girl. I'm over here taking notes. And I interviewed couples that have been married for over 25 years and still liked each other. Because I realized that I know a lot of married people, but they were grumpy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, you guys are
not
not
that life.
They're not selling this thing called love at all. You know, like, I don't know about you.
And that's not what we want.
No, not at all. And then I interviewed successful women that were successful in business and in love, because a part of me felt like you couldn't do both of them at the same time. Like, how many women do we know that's like, oh, I'm going to get there one day, but let me just get this next degree. Let me just do this next thing in my business. Let me just get this, right? Get this. As a driven woman, you never stop driving, right?
Yeah.
So we're just driving, but where are we driving to?
That's right.
Where are we driving to? Right? A couple months back, I hit Women's Day magazine, and I took a moment to celebrate, you know, the fact that I was in Women's Day magazine, because we don't celebrate, we don't stop. So anyway, tangent. So here we go, back to this story. And so I just started to realize that I need to do the work, right? Got to do the work. Yeah. And that helped me to attract my amazing husband. He's pretty darn awesome. And now we have a beautiful baby girl. And what I realized as I looked around is that there's so many professional women that are either so focused on their business that they look up at the end. So now 40, 50, 60, knocking on their door, they're like, dang, maybe I should have given Joey and Rashid a chance. You know, now they married with however many kids or whatever, you know, and they're like, dang. Or, you know, they have that, you know, well, I'm putting it in God's hands. I'm a pray that my Boaz comes to my door. And you know, for a fact, if that man is not the Amazon Prime man and not the Uber Eats man, you are not opening the door. And I'm not even sure you open the door for those men. You said, just drop it.
Right.
Just drop it, right? So I literally am in a new space where I've carved a new lane that I support professional women along their love journey. So it's not just about catching a man, but it really is, how do you love yourself in this process? Because I find that we really, outside of massages and nails, we really don't know how to love ourselves. How do we attract the right kind of love? Because half of us feel like our picker is broken. Like, man, I really thought that was it, Coach Cass. What happened? And then how do we thrive in the relationship? Because another section of us are so afraid of messing a good thing up.
Yeah, I love that. That's good. You're doing some good work out there. Something that there aren't, I mean, like I said, I did my research. I was looking for someone that, well, I thought I was Googling matchmaking and you came up. But in my search, though, Coach Cass, it was very hard for me to find you and other, like you don't have very many competitors out there.
No.
I could be wrong. You probably think differently because you're in it.
Right,
So
right. Yeah, I know plenty of matchmakers, right.
Yeah. So, but I felt like it wasn't like, if I needed an attorney, I could find them so much easier than I could find you.
It's a tough career, right? So matchmaking is a very niched market. And what I find is that individuals that come to matchmakers have high demands, right?
Yeah.
So if you're going to shell out, matchmakers aren't cheap. If you're going to shell out $15,000, $20,000 for somebody to find the love of your life, usually, you want tall, dark, and handsome, or tall, vanilla, and flat stomach, whatever you want, and then you want no STDs, no kids, perfect score, 6 figures, 7 figures, owns a house, and it's just like, dude, come on, like, which imaginary land are we living in? So I rarely take on matchmaking clients because I find that it's just too superficial for my blood, so I find it much better to just be alongside, the longevity of it. Alongside women in their journey to help them be more authentic in their dating process and intentional to be able to get the results that they want.
That sounds great. You're doing great. So let's dive in then. Okay. So we're talking about a few of my friends now. I've been telling them I'm going to have Coach Cass on my show, and we're going to be talking about all these things that I've already shared with my subs. But, I really wanted to get here with you. So we're in COVID-19, obviously. We've been in this longer than we planned on, and we're not sure when this is going to end. So, I have some friends who decided that they were going to be creative, a couple of them. Now, I haven't done this because I'm still in that, like I said earlier, I'm not into the, I'm going to seek my man. I kind of like him, like I want him to seek me still. And I'm like in that old phase. And of course, some of these things you and I might have to talk about offline. But I think though that some of them are trying to be real creative in this time. And so they sought out men virtually to do a virtual date with them. And they got Uber Eats delivered to them. And then they would watch the Netflix party together, like they were at the movies and having a dinner and movie, together. And I thought it was really creative and really cool and really cute.
That's so cute.
Was it? You like it?
Yeah. What's the problem?
I just don't know.
All right, Dr. Kymrae. Okay, so for this man to find you, my question to you is, are you in the witness protection program? How often do you leave your house?
Oh, I'm definitely a social butterfly. Definitely. I'm a socialite.
But have you been socializing since COVID?
Well, digitally.
Exactly. Yeah. Case in point.
So you think it's a good idea that we should probably try to pivot and do these things virtually?
Listen, everybody's business is pivoting, right? So your dating process has to pivot. Oh, wow, my eyelash is about to flow away. So I was like, wait a second, what's going on? So you really have to think about that, right? So if what you've been doing isn't working in these post-COVID times, it's time to try something new.
Yeah.
Like, unless you want to hang out outside of the supermarket and hope to Jesus that when they take their mask off, all their teeth isn't missing.
Look, and that's the thing. Like, guys will come and holler at me in the grocery store, which that was always their place to talk to me. In the grocery store, they would always approach me. I can guarantee you every time I go, I'm going to grocery store approach. But now with the mask, I'm like, you're trying to holler at me with a mask on? Like, I don't get it.
Like, can you just back up and let me see your whole grill real quick, please?
It's like the sunglasses before, now it's the mask.
Yeah. Can I see? Oh, yeah. Take the sunglasses off and the eyes like cross-eyed. Like, just put them back on, baby. Put them back on. I like it better with the sunglasses.
Oh my goodness, you cracking me up. So, okay, let's talk then. Chemistry is normally how we lead into love, right? Because that's the first thing that we, we're like, okay, we had such great conversation, or okay, we had such great intimacy, or, those things that make you feel like there's true chemistry. But so, and of course I make this mistake all the time because I think, woo, in the honeymoon phase, I call it. It's like the beginning
Yeah.
when I first meet somebody and we're talking on the phone till 5 and 6, 7 in the morning, you know, and it's like, oh, I got to go to work, you know,
Right.
like we're kids again. And, you know, that's the honeymoon phase to me. So during that phase, I make this mistake. I seem to think, oh, I have chemistry. And then it's like, you know, you let a few more weeks go by and you get to know this person a little bit more. It's like, wait a minute, what happened to the fireworks?
Fireworks
so talk
went
to us
home.
about that a little bit.
They put it back in the box. The fireworks are gone.
They're gone.
All right. So I like to call this my LLC. So for all my business owners, you know LLC very well, right?
Yes.
So my LLC. So we start with love, then logic, then chemistry. So chemistry, too often do we lead with that because, you know, this what the romantic comedies show us. This is what the romance novels, the dramas, you know, first you see each other across the room and then it's like, boom, 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 boom. And it's like, right? So after the and you realize that he drops his drawers by the door and leaves them there and doesn't go pick them up for like a week and a half. You're like, wait a second, you nasty, right? So it's a real issue. Oh, you don't clean up your plate. Oh, you snort when you laugh. Oh, you don't talk to your mama ever. Oh, you know, so too often do we rush so quickly. And I've seen in quarantine, a lot of people rushing into like these quasi relation situations just because it's simple. Oh, you're quarantining. I'm quarantining.
Right.
Let's quarantine together.
It's not snow, guys. It's quarantine. Like.
Exactly. Right. So I need you to take time with your relationships, just like you would anything else. So just like on a job, you have to prove yourself over 90 days to see if this is a viable option as an employee and as an employer. Like, I don't really know about you. We need to get to know each other. But all of a sudden, if somebody has the fit stereotype of what you like, that nice whatever, right? Whether it's chocolate or vanilla or caramel, whatever your flavor, and they have all the teeth and they seem to get along with their kids, you're like, hey, I like this one. Yeah, exactly. This is the one for me. And then you're all in. So now you're laying on your back with your legs in the air 2 weeks later. And then 3 weeks later, you're like, wait a second. You have a criminal record? Oh, you don't own a car, do you? Oh, that's your mama's car? Oh, you live in your mom's basement? You know, and then we find out all these things that if you just took a moment, right? So that's the logic part. But the love part, so the love part really is how do you lead with vulnerability? What I find, I just did a podcast interview on my podcast to a single mature man. And one of the things that he mentioned was that so often do women come in and not share. So he'll be all open and share, you know, this is what I've been through, or this is what I'm looking for. And they'll just be like, oh, that's great. Or, you know, what do you want? You know, versus sharing what she wants and who she is.
Sure.
And so my issue with that is, don't make someone jump over a whole Spartan race, you know, swim through the ocean, you know, go through the mud, go through the wall and do all these things in order just to get to know your middle name. Right. So I need you to be a little bit more open. So leading with love is being vulnerable, kind of like this is who I am, but not in a stank way. Not like, look, this is me. Okay. Right. I like that. Right. It's just like, hey, this is who I am. This is what I've been through. This is what I hope for the future. And just being open, practicing that vulnerability. And I often get, well, I don't know how to do that, Coach. How do I really do this? Yeah. Practice with a girlfriend, practice with your mama, practice with your friends. I have a whole love deck with 60 questions that I feel that everyone should ask before choosing the one. And so you could practice that with family members, because I realized that the conversations that we have are really superficial. Just think about it. When you call up your friends, it's usually like, what's on TV? What did the local election? What did this? What did that? You know, so we have all these frivolous things, but nothing deep. Like, you know, what makes you tick? What do you think about before you go to sleep? When was the last time you saw your parents? You know, like things that we don't really talk about, right? What's your favorite dance move? Right. So what's the stuff that gets you excited? Yeah. So leading with love and vulnerability, then the logic of, you know, the rap sheet. Because too often do we choose someone based on, oh, well, you know, he has good credit. treats his mom well, has the kids, his shoes look nice, he's clean, so we look at this sheet of paper and we check off this list and we're like, okay, look good together. This looks good on paper.
Yeah.
Right? But in reality, did you work on this vulnerability and this love stuff first?
Yeah.
And then double check, because when we X out the mechanic, or we X out the person with a kid, or we X out this person just based off of, stats on a sheet, you might be missing out on true love. And then third is chemistry, because I'm telling you, you could teach anybody to please you, right? And sometimes we lead with pleasure and we wonder why the relationship doesn't work. You're working off of lust instead of love, right? So when we leave chemistry for last, like, as you get to know someone, the closeness, it grows, intimacy, into me, you see, right? So as you get to know me, things become more intimate, and then that creates something more special. But when you sleep with somebody after 2 weeks of knowing them, you're like, dang, should I get an STD test? Like, we should use the condom. We never really talked about that. When was the last time they slept with someone? If we are grown-ups here, we should be able to have these conversations.
That's right.
Before having sex with them.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
That's good. That's really good. I like that. You said a word, and so I want to open up with these synonyms of that word.
Okay. At
risk, unsafe, unprotected. Those are synonyms for that V word, that vulnerability word, right? Those are scary words, so I can see why. And I'll use me for my subscribers, right? And I want them to feel what we're talking about as if you're talking to them. When you start to open up, like, let's go back to that example that you were talking about, how when dating someone and you're scared you just say, my day was good. You don't expound or, expand on getting them to know you. And it's because you feel like you're giving up too much, so it's a risky thing. It's an unsafe thing. It's a scary thing. You feel like you're not guarding your heart. And so I guess, like, it's a balance, right, Coach? You have to kind of say to yourself, what exactly can I give them, right? Like, without feeling like if I do not have a relationship with them after they know this, will I feel like I was robbed? You know what I mean? Like, I guess you have to figure out, is that, am I going on the right path? Like, maybe you have to figure out, like, what exactly those things are, or how do you say no calculating?
Okay, Kymrae, Dr. Kymrae, let me tell you, that's the calculation part of you, right? Yeah. So for everybody listening, as driven women, we kind of like to plan things out. Right. And too often do we seek to plan things out, which means we like to control. And love is not something that likes to be controlled, right? So you can't map out every single thing. If the conversation is flowing and they say, do you have kids? And you have kids, I have kids, right? Have you ever been married? Yeah, I've been married. Didn't work out. And it's just like, have you ever had a disease? Well, that one's a little touchy, right? So I know that was a little scary, right?
There's things, that's a great example though, Coach, because there are like that where you're literally saying, I don't want to talk about this early, so I guess I hear you. I hear you saying you're calculating, and that's what we tend to do.
Right.
I receive that.
Don't make a checklist of the things you want to talk about. Just flow. Use the cards, but literally be open. It's practicing being open in your conversation. Okay. So let's say somebody had herpes, right? So it's like they get on a date and they're like, hey, have you ever had an STD? Yes. Right. So I know that's a scary thing to admit, but at some point they're going to find out anyway. Right. So it's like most people that have had an STD didn't plan on having an STD.
Right.
Right. It's not something you wake up one morning saying, you know what? I think I want some herpes today. So it just is what it is. Now that's normally not a question that comes up on a first date, a second date, a third date. You don't need to bring it up necessarily, but also understand that, hey, it's important for us to get tested before we go down that road. Right. So when you're getting closer to feeling like this is someone, my issue is, in terms of my public health side, is that people jump into bed or into floor, into kitchen with people that they just met and have no idea where they've been, use no protection, and then they wonder why they're itching the next day.
Yeah.
Talking about we grown, right? That's often a comment. Well, we grown. Okay,
yeah, we can do it. We're grown.
We could go to the doctor together, grown, like grown adults with some masks on. Grown. Let's talk about it, right?
I like it. Yeah. That's good. This is good. Mm-hmm. This is good conversation, guys. Just to remind you, I have Coach Cass with us. She is a love coach from South Florida, but she's all over. And inspiremini.com is her website. That's also her social media hold as well. If you're interested in talking to her a little bit more, or booking her, or even going to her website to buy her these cards that we're talking about, or even her daughter has a book, a children's book, right? As well. Yeah, so she's got a whole lot of stuff for you on her website, inspiremini.com. And as I said, you can reach her on social media as well there. But Coach Cass, before we close it out, I wanted to talk about real quickly, you mentioned about how you've been now starting to work with professional women and their ability to both be career-oriented and relationship-oriented. So what's going on in that? Relationships and busy women, and tell us a little bit more about that. Okay,
so it really is to prioritize love, right? So that's the main issue that I find is, Coach Cass, I'm too busy. And I push back on that. I push back on that because if you're too busy, how do you find time to brush your teeth? How do you find time to spend with your loved ones? How do you find time to watch your Netflix show if you're too busy, right? So I push back on that because at the end of the day, if you're too busy for love now, it won't make time for you later, right? Right? So when everything's said and done and you're on your deathbed, do you want them to say, hey, she worked real hard. Hard worker. Like, is that the legacy that you want to lead? Like, oh, she left a lot of money. Yeah, but by yourself in that bed with nobody rubbing your feet, right? So taking a moment or moments to enjoy and to practice vulnerability and to lead with love, it's necessary.
Absolutely. I like that. I like it because I was all this time before I started getting to know you virtually. I was looking at your stuff on your website and reading your blogs. I'm now a subscriber. And so I've been receiving your emails and things and I'm looking at this stuff and I'm going, wow, it's not chemistry first. That's if there's one thing that I want my subscribers to take with them today. And Coach Cass, tell me if there's something else, then maybe I'm missing it. But for me, it's that we don't need to lead with chemistry. We need to lead with love and logic. Did I say that right?
So you lead with your love, which is also vulnerability.
Okay.
Then logic, then chemistry.
Okay.
So that's the order, LLC. Love,
okay, there
logic,
it is. And you can't forget
chemistry.
it when you put it in that acronym form, that LLC, but it's love first. And we know that because love rules, so it wins every time. So I love that. I love this conversation, Coach Cass. I hope you enjoyed it. And I just want to ask you, is there anything that you would like to share with my subscribers before you go today?
Sure. I have a free checklist of how to, ace the next date, how to ace the next date. So if they go to relationshipsforbusywomen.com, they will get a checklist on how to ace the next date. Because I know it's tough, so whether you're going on a first date or you're wondering how to get to the next date, like you need to pick it up.
Yeah. You know what? And I also want to share too that you have on your website too, you have like a self-love challenge and a Manifest Your Man masterclass as well.
Yes.
And a love quiz or some kind of quiz I took. I took a love quiz, right?
Yep. Yeah. We got a little bit of everything. And being a part of the mailing list, you get tips every week, some love tips on a different topic. So, we try to nourish the ladies. And you send regular emails, and that's a good thing. It's hard to keep up with those things sometimes when you're, an entrepreneur like you are, and you do a really good job. I want to ask you real quick. I'm sorry. I want to ask you about this. The love languages. Do you know about those love languages? I read about them in a book of, that was a while ago. The 5 Love Languages.
Yeah.
Gary Chapman.
What do you think about those? What's your take
essential.
on that?
It's essential, right? Okay. So let's say your love language is tomato soup and my love language is chicken soup. And I'm giving you chicken soup, chicken soup, chicken soup. And you're giving me tomato soup, tomato soup, tomato soup. And all I'm thinking is, dang, she don't like me. You know, she give me this tomato soup. You're like, dang, she don't like me. She give me this chicken soup. Like, and we're sitting here thinking that we hate each other. And it's like, no. Like I've been showing all this love to you. So having the conversation and learning each other's love language is essential to every relationship.
Okay.
Right. So I realized that spending time, my daughter is all about spending time. That is her love language. So sitting down face to face, fully present, playing with her is her love language. Now, my husband, me, it's acts of service, right?
Okay.
Like, can you go ahead and vacuum this floor? You know, can you scrub this toilet? You know, like without me asking. And I love words of affirmation. Oh, yeah. Like, you know what?
Me too.
You're a rock star. You're doing this thing. You're a great mom. I love you. You know, so when you start to understand your family members' love language, which is usually what they complain the most about, pay attention to those closest to you. And whatever it is they complain most about is usually their love language because they're not getting enough of it. So you have to fill their tank, make that deposit. You know, you got to make the deposit in order for folks to feel loved, whether it's romantically, platonically, and everything in between.
I like that. You know, and so with that, though, do you think that people are able to transform that? So like, say, you know, you were talking about the tomato and the chicken soup people, right? Some things though, right, Coach, are not able to be transformed. Like if I don't like tomatoes, I just will never like tomatoes, right? Or so is that able to ever be changed? Or I mean, like, or sometimes it just won't work if you have different love languages. Is that what we're saying?
You just have to understand the person's love language and learn to speak their language. Okay. So it can, in any circumstance, it can, if you're willing to. If you're willing, right. Okay. So it's like, okay, so now that I know that you love tomato soup, am I going to go to the store, even though I like chicken soup, and buy you tomato soup? Because it's not always about me. Right. So can I be selfless? That's a huge part of relationship. Are you just focused on yourself? Then you should be by yourself. Right. So if you only focus on you, looking in the mirror, well, I needed chicken soup, so I'm going to get just chicken soup. No. Oh, wow. Dr. Kymrae loves tomato soup, so let me send her some tomato soup. And you feel the love over there. And understand that has nothing to do with me. I'm just doing for you. And a big part of relationship are selfless acts. Just doing for the other person.
Absolutely. Great. Thank you so much, Coach Cass. This was phenomenal. I really enjoyed this episode. So this is one of my favorites already. I mean, I really enjoyed this, and I hope that you all out there did as well. And so we just thank you so much, Coach Cass, for joining us. We hope to check in with you real soon and see what's going on over there in Inspire Miniland.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Bye. Bye.